diverse, interactive, and oftentimes contradictory expectations that are inherent to their jobs. Met or unmet expectations can be explained in terms of the gap between what government resort. It responds to those in need. Denial of service is not an option. It needs to be met by a highly trained public service. There will be no argument for that in here. Competencies as well as emotive skills are likely to be more effective. Essential cognitive skills, but these skills are necessary but insufficient for the human processes involved in the administration and delivery to develop skill in nuanced, emotive intents, such as disaster services and emergency medical. The first is expressing compassion, focusing on the human, being able to express care and concern for citizens for handling this crisis. Much of the public engagement that fosters trust and builds community. Because of the crisis, that efforts are underway to cope with the crisis and show compassion. For people whose lives have been disrupted or who may exhibit apathy, you may recall President George W. or recent criticism of President Obama's reported loyally and how the media's portrayal can shape its judgment and listening. Intercept between agency and environment, listen to intercept at the edge of chaos, listen to action in turbulent environments with discretion. Instances in the hurries to bend or step outside the rules and to act to save lives and to help those in dire need, or of adhering to the letter of the law, to adhere strictly to bureaucratic literalness. The outcomes may have been very different if administrative to conclude, the issues surrounding the human processes of governance are difficult to resolve. They are compounded in times of crisis. Gender differences in deaths from disaster situations. 70 to 80% of overall deaths were women. Important is not what is right or left, but what works. Thank you for your attention, for this opportunity. Terima kasih.
Condition, constraints, and opportunity. When we look in the some big gap between what we are doing, what we do. So this is the question with us. So we can do everything by ourselves. We can see what they can sell to us, motivation or just change, for example. And then, what is the result? Mission reach the marginalized people, equality, justice to discuss today, and the scientific paper sustain or continue our achievement. What is an issue or the total agenda for the next? Consider, do we need to balance and harmonize our consumption, especially about value, policy, administration and management, how to translate the idea, how to translate the function. Do we only concern about politics? Do we function? And there are some issues what happened with network, not only in our common to run our life, for example. So this is an issue, efficiency of governed and ungoverned. And also we have
as an individual as such in the Indian society. There have been cases where business groups, certain business groups, their assets are much more than the assets of several states put together. We have 29 states, 29 provinces in India, and there is a business group today which has an asset of more than $100 billion. Many Indians today of how to influence, how to control, how to regulate trade and industry, and how to ensure that trade and industry, and for which the entire political system and the economic system works. It's not the law which can bring in peace, and if we can instill the feeling of self-governance, then I think act more as a regulator, and government can correct. Keeping that in view, government of India is business and the polity. Business that is known as corporate governance. Again, as I told you of India, several countries today with business, there has been discussions here and there and new guidelines on the corporate governance. And now I will just, this is my brief presentation part. Corporate governance in public sector, we always divide public sector into certain parts. We have non-departmental enterprises. These that as a company that I think is growing in a very large way. We have enterprises, which are government enterprises. We have enterprises governed by provincial governments. These are more in number than the federal enterprises. Enterprises is about $300 billion. If you take the private corporate business, then we find enterprises in public sector is as much as corporate governance. When you talk of corporate governance in the public sector, it is expected that public enterprises will fulfill the actual government and the central government. Then we have these enterprises to govern in a way which these enterprises to become corporate citizens. Now this is something very, very new. Now part of society. Not only we have to public sector enterprises should also fulfill CSR, corporate social responsibility, and corporate social responsibility should not be taken as a measure of philanthropy. Corporate social responsibility should become the administrative functioning of these enterprises. One is Article 12. Now, Article 12 enterprises as an extended arm of the and CAG looks into the accounts of these enterprises. We have Parliament, we have the Indian Parliament, we have the state of public enterprises which will come through legislations and discuss the functioning of these enterprises and can direct these enterprises to function. We have government departments, we have Department of Public Enterprises, we have guidelines which are issued by the Department of Public Enterprises. These guidelines are not mandatory, but in a way they are their board composition on aspects regarding disclosure, etc. Then process of disclosure. Until so far, number of public enterprises or number of enterprises to their assets, information with regard to their efficiency, information with regard to